First things first, what did you make of Dave Dombrowski's comments about Harper, maybe not being elite anymore, and Bryce's reaction to it? Is that going to be an issue going forward?
It was such a nothing comment. I posted, I think, on Facebook in Threads, I said, we have to decide if we want cookie cutter answers that mean nothing, or if we want the most basic honesty there could possibly be. That was such an honest answer. Oh, yeah, a guy in his 30s who's played over a decade in the league, who plays extremely hard, might not be at the top of his game from here on out.
Right.
You might not be able to count on him being a monster superstar anymore. I think Harper would say the same thing about himself. I don't think he took offense to that. I don't think Phillies fans should take offense to that, because that's what everyone's saying amongst themselves anyway. So I had no problem with what he said. As far as motivation goes for Harper, I don't even think there was any thought behind it for Dombrowski. It wasn't him trying to light a fire under him at all. It was just him being a little bit honest. It was such a nothing comment that became a huge blown up story. And I hated it because it was just obvious.
Well, Kevin, backing up to the playoffs, and the Phillies go toe to toe with the Dodgers. They weren't far off from being able to win that series, and we see the Dodgers go on to a great World Series with the Blue Jays on both ends. Is that a good measuring stick of where this Phillies team is, or is that all gone? We got all these players in free agency, and we got to start over.
Well, no, I've been saying all season that the Phillies are way better than people realize, because sometimes I think in Philadelphia, fans tend to measure the team today against the teams of the past. And there's no way in today's baseball, in today's game, you can measure their offense. It just doesn't happen. You don't have a Jason Worth, Ryan Howard, Chase Utley, Jimmy Rollins kind of situation these days. If you had that offense now, forget it. The World Series would be locked up. It's a different thing. You look around, I think it was the Pirates. If you put, I forget if it was Edmundo Sosa. I think if you put him on the Pirates, he would be their second best hitter as far as OPS. So, there's teams all over the league that you want the Phillies, is my point. You want the Phillies offense. You think that the Phillies offense is their, downside. It's not. They're actually not bad at all. They need a few pieces. And me personally, I tried to find the quote, couldn't find it. I saw it randomly on TV about a week or two ago. Larry Bowe was talking about speed. And I think we're about to see a new revolution in baseball. I could be wrong, but if I was running a team right now, I'm moving away from home runs and getting obsessed with bat speed and power and all that. I want speed. It's so clear to me in baseball right now that speed would kill. You need to put the ball in play. The Phillies are having a big problem putting the ball in play. A guy like Steven Kwan, they could trade for. He strikes out about 50 times a year. He's not right now. I think on the season he batted 271. I think he could win a batting title. He's a guy you can get on the cheap because he ended the season 271. He was an all-star. His OPS was around 701, but this is a guy, old school baseball. You get him on base, he'll score 100 runs. He's speedy, plays great defense. Plug him in, just get speed all over the place. Justin Crawford, get him in there. He's got a lot of speed. Got to move away from Castellanos. I would love to see Schwarber re-sign, keep him at DH. But other than that, get speed anywhere you possibly can. And I promise you, that's going to be a new revolution in baseball, because it'll change everything.
Well, Kevin, you just mentioned one of the guys I wanted to ask you about, and that is Justin Crawford. I know you've been touting him all summer. Is he going to be the starting left fielder? He's certainly not a power hitter. He does have speed, so I'm guessing you like this guy a lot.
Yeah, and I think the worst thing for him, towards the end of the season, he started to hit some home runs, and it's just, I hope they're not coaching him to do that, or coaching him to be somebody that he's not. Again, I think the game is changing, and it should be changing towards speed. Because it's just so obvious once we get to the postseason, all these teams with these great power hitters, you could even look at the Dodgers with Ohtani. The Phillies completely shut him down. Now, when he gets hot, he's fantastic, but he can go into these huge slumps. I want to see a team built on speed and putting the ball in play and see what can happen. And I think that's kind of a slump buster as far as the whole team is considered. Get a bunch of guys. Justin Crawford fits that mold. Now, a bunch of stat guys. I wrote a baseball stat book, but I'm not as heavy on stats as other people are. So when you tell me the ground ball rate and, you know, how Justin Crawford elevates the ball and his bat speed, all this, the guy bat over 330 in AAA, and all he's done is bat over 325 for his entire career, over 1,000 at bats in minor league baseball. I'm sorry, like in my entire life, that's a good hitter, and I can't think of one guy in my entire life who that doesn't end up being a good hitter, whose dad was a great player for God knows how many years, who debuted at 20 years of age, and we're still waiting on Justin Crawford, who's going to be, I guess, 22 or 23 when he finally gets his chance. This is a guy that could have made a difference last season. It's unfortunate, the kind of guy that could have been a spark plug and they never gave him a shot. But now it's time. And now it's time to change the entire team. Again, hate to harp on it, but get speed on the team, put the ball in play. And I think the offense could be a whole lot better than last season.
Well, Kevin, I don't know if these numbers are exactly right, but one of the things I read said that the Kyle Schwarber camp is looking at 6 years, $160 million. If that's the offer that comes to me and I'm running the Phillies, I got to let him walk.
I don't necessarily disagree. And that's one of the things, again, if I was running the team and I really believe in this philosophy, if this is my new money ball, if I'm now more focused on speed and that's going to be my major focus point, I got to let Schwarber go for that money. You're going to need power somewhere. So, ideally you'd have a guy that, like a Mookie Betts type in his prime with speed and power and puts the ball in play, hits for average, all those things. That's ideal. You're not going to get that. But I don't have a problem with a guy like Schwarber who's a little bit slower, and, you can't have the speediest guys at every position. But even though there's no salary cap, there is internally. For each team, they have a number that they don't really feel comfortable going over, and that can be an issue. Unless the Phillies think that there's going to be, I guess, what do they call it, a strike or a lockout? I never know the difference between the two in 2027, and they're just going to go for it in 2026, then you might as well just go for it and give Schwarber what he wants. He means a lot to the team as far as, he's kind of taken over being the face of the team a little bit from Bryce Harper. And I think he takes a little bit of, it makes it easier on Harper that there is another face to the franchise. So in that sense, if you're not going to sign Schwarber, you got to find somebody else. And that gets difficult. I mean, I think Schwarber, at least if you give him his number, he's coming back. So it might be a tough pill to swallow. I don't know which way I'd go. If that's the number, when it's all said and done, how do I say no? But if I'm sticking to my philosophy, I got to say no, and I'm just finding speed to replace him.
Kevin, we've completely used up all our time, but I got a couple of more questions. So let's do it this way. We're going to play Fast Five. I'm going to hit you with 5 questions. You got 10 seconds to answer.
I'll try not to
each
ramble.
one. All right, here we go. Number 1, Zach Wheeler, hopefully back in the spring. Will he be a dominating pitcher again for the Phillies?
100%. Yes, I believe it. He's well, I don't know anything about his recovery, but yes, I trust him.
Number 2, Andrew Painter. We continue to wait for him to develop to be, a major league pitcher. They're hoping to have him in the spring and get a good look at him. Will Andrew Painter be a starter on the 2026 Phillies?
100%, because I think the plan was always to have him replace Suarez. But I'm very worried because I thought Painter was going to be a whole lot better last season, and he's proving me very, very wrong so far.
Number 3, is it possible that Bryce Harper will again play right field for the Phillies at some point?
Yeah, because I love the opportunity to potentially bring back Rhys Hoskins, and not necessarily as an everyday first baseman. People are saying, is Rhys Hoskins going to be the guy that replaces Kyle Schwarber? Rhys Hoskins can be the outfield version of Edmundo Sosa. Give Bryce a break at first, or maybe they could switch. Rhys can play outfield, Bryce can play outfield too.
Number 4, my partner Bill's not a huge Rob Thompson fan. Can the Phillies win a World Series under Rob Thompson?
Absolutely, because I believe in keeping cohesion in the clubhouse. And let's be honest, a manager of a baseball team, not that important when it all comes down to it. It's the least important of the four major sports. Um, I like the fact that the players like him, and that's the most important thing.
Number 5, regarding the free agents. I know you want Kyle Schwarber back. Should the Phillies bring back JT Realmuto if it's going to be 3 years or longer in terms of contract?
No. And I was against signing him the last time. I was wrong that time. Hey, if catchers could play forever, let's just sign Pudge Rodriguez. Let's see what Chooch is up to right now. Like, obviously, catchers hit the end. Do you want to be on the right side of that or the wrong side of that? The reason the Patriots won for so many years, they made the right moves at the unpopular time. And that's what I think the Phillies had to do. Let Realmuto go. There's interesting options elsewhere.
All right.
There you go. Hey, Kevin, you have your books. Tell us about that before we let you go. And you have a new book coming out, right?
Yeah, we got still Ring the Bell. Doing a Christmas push soon for that. We'll be selling signed copies on ringthebellbook.com. And I think, found out today, I'm going to be teaming up again with Ryan Spader, the greatest baseball stat mind on the entire planet. And we're going to be doing a new book. We did Incredible Baseball Stats, volumes 1 and 2. The last one came out in 2019, and we said, we could do it again, or we could do like a more interesting thing. And we decided we're just going to fill it with the craziest stats and trivia and information we possibly can to blow people's mind about the history of baseball and all the teams, Phillies, just across the board. Title not yet determined, but something along the lines of incredible baseball trivia. Not incredibly creative, but I think within the book, it's going to be super creative, interesting stats and fun facts. And, what I'm kind of famous for at this point is the coffee table book, or as Glenn Macnow has done for me in the past, he's put my books in his bathroom. And that's, the highest of compliments. That's where we want to be. That's a fun
right.
spot. So I think this
Nice.
is going to be the perfect book for that. And, we're going to be working on that fast. That'll be out in April, I think. So
Wow.
we're going to be, it's a very fast turnaround. So we're going to be working hard on that.
Fantastic.
All right. And just to be clear, that was ringthebellbooks.com.
Ringthebellbook.com.
Book.com.
No S
Okay.
on the end. Yep.
So anybody wants to get that for
Ringthebellbook.com.
Christmas, there you go. You'll get your signed copy. Jump on there. Kevin, appreciate you joining us, and let's do it again.
Thanks for having me. Fun as always. Appreciate you guys.
All right.
All
Thank
right,
you.
my man.
See you, Kevin.